The Brinks-Mat gold robbery, 1983. A 3-ton theft of solid gold paid out its dividends in 20 unsolved murders. Brian Robinson and Mickey McAvoy spent their early years in South London in the 1950s. They grew up in absolute poverty. At 12, McAvoy began stealing to feed himself. By their 30s, they led a network of armed thieves. An inside security guard provided the warehouse codes. They expected to find £3 million in cash. They armed themselves with 9mm handguns. They poured petrol on the bound guards. On November 26, 1983, at 6:40 a.m., 6 men entered the Brinks-Mat warehouse near Heathrow Airport. They found 6,800 gold bars. The haul weighed 3,000 kilograms. It held a value of £26 million. They loaded it into a single transit van. The gold entered the black market. Over the next decade, assassins executed 20 individuals connected to the laundered gold. A judge handed McAvoy a 25-year sentence in December 1984. Wealth changes its physical state to avoid detection. Greed guarantees the resulting currency is human lives. The North Hollywood shootout, 1997. 2 armored men fired 1,126 rounds at Los Angeles police before their own weapons failed them. Larry Phillips Jr. was born in Colorado in 1970 to a fugitive father. By age 19, he operated a real estate scam. Emil Matasareanu was born in Romania in 1966. At age 8, he immigrated to escape political persecution. On July 20, 1993, at ages 23 and 27, they robbed a Denver armored car. On June 14, 1995, they killed guard Herman Cook during a San Fernando Valley heist. They stole $1.5 million. At 9:17 a.m. on February 28, 1997, Phillips and Matasareanu entered a Bank of America branch. They carried heavily modified Norinco Type 56 rifles. They wore 40 pounds of custom Kevlar body armor. They stole $303,305 in cash. At 9:52 a.m., Phillips shot himself under the chin with a Beretta pistol. At 9:56 a.m., police shot Matasareanu 29 times in his unprotected lower legs. He bled to death on the asphalt over 70 minutes. Armor protects the heart from external threats. It cannot stop the blood from leaving the body. The Stockholm Syndrome bank robbery, 1973. A robbery in which the hostages defended their captor in court while the police tried to kill him. Jan Erik Olsson began his life in 1941 in Ekeby, Sweden. His parents divorced when he was 11. At 17, he committed his first theft. By 32, he navigated life as a seasoned institutional inmate. On August 23, 1973, Olsson walked away from a prison furlough. He armed himself with a loaded submachine gun. He demanded 3 million kroner and the release of his former cellmate, Clark Olofsson. Olsson entered Sveriges Kreditbanken in Stockholm at 10:15 a.m. He took 4 bank employees hostage. For 130 hours, they lived in a 47-foot bank vault. Olsson draped a wool jacket over a shivering hostage. The captive felt overwhelming gratitude toward her captor. Police drilled holes through the roof. On August 28 at 9 p.m., police deployed tear gas into the vault. Olsson surrendered. They suffered no physical casualties during the standoff. The captives refused to testify against Olsson. A bank vault locks valuables inside. Sometimes it locks reality out, replacing survival instinct with fatal devotion. John Dillinger's bank robbery spree. A wooden gun painted with black shoe polish enabled the escape of America's most wanted man. John Dillinger was born in Indianapolis in 1903 to a strict grocer. His mother died when he was 3. At age 24, he served a 9-year prison sentence for a botched mugging. Between September 33 and July 1934, Dillinger and his 5-man gang robbed 24 banks. They stole exactly $300,000. On March 3, 1934, the 30-year-old escaped the Crown Point jail using the carved wooden pistol. On June 14, 1935, Dillinger robbed the Merchants National Bank in San Bern. It was his final heist. Officer Howard Wagner died in the crossfire. The gang fled with exactly $29,890. On July 22, 1934, at 10:40 p.m., FBI agents ambushed him outside the Biograph Theater in Chicago. 3 bullets struck him. He died face down in a muddy alley at age 31. Public adoration cannot deflect federal ammunition. A criminal legend ends exactly the moment the body hits the pavement. Bonnie and Clyde's bank robbery spree. They photographed their own romance while murdering 13 people for pocket change. Clyde Barrow started his life in 1909 in Texas alongside tenant farmers. Bonnie followed in 1910. Her father died when she was 4. An inmate sexually assaulted Clyde in prison at 20. He crushed his attacker's skull with a lead pipe. They met in January 1930. In 1930, they began robbing rural gas stations and small-town banks. They rarely stole more than $1,500. On April 1, 1934, they murdered 2 highway patrolmen in Grainville, Texas. They used a Browning automatic rifle. They fired at point-blank range. Public opinion turned overnight. On June 15, 1935, at 9:15 a.m., a 6-man posse ambushed their stolen Ford V8 in Bienville Parish, Louisiana. The posse fired 130 rounds. Clyde took his last breath at 25. Bonnie died at 23. Violence is a currency that demands constant reinvestment. The final withdrawal leaves nothing behind but empty brass.